tryna go to the stars. She been off drugs all day. She think that she landed in Mars. Got her no
Micah chapter 7, verse 7. But me, I am not giving up. I'm sticking around to see what God will do. I'm waiting for God to make things right. I'm counting on God to listen to me. Welcome back, people. This is another episode of Intuition Podcast, episode 14. Today's episode is about God's timing. With that being said, God's timing is the right timing and the only timing that you would ever really need to understand. And I want you to believe in his timing, and I want you to believe that his timing is right and also that yours will always be wrong. A lot of things that you've been praying, wishing about, you think, you have a plan. God is really laughing because he's telling you, you're on my time. You need to be patient with me and you need to trust in the plan that I have for you and continue to work hard and meet me halfway with all the things that you've been praying about, whether that's a new job, a new relationship, love, car, more money in your pocket, everything. You need to trust God's plan and realize that his way is truly the only way. And with that being said, let's get into the first bullet point. Never forget God when things are finally falling into place for you. All these things that you've been praying about, the good, the bad, the ugly that you want to remove for your life, if you keep seeing yourself just win and win and win and win, never forget God when you are at your lowest or your highest. You need to be praying to him like you have $0 in your bank account. And you still need to be praying to him like you have $1,000,000 in your bank account. You know what I'm saying? And I know this is a thing that a lot of humans do because we're all human. We know we're victim of it. Continue to put him first, even when you're angry with him. If you find yourself mad, upset at God, for all the things that he's not doing for you, and you feel like you're working hard and you're meeting them halfway, but still it's like, oh my God, like I see this person, like when is it gonna be my chance, when is it gonna be my turn? Your turn is on your way, but it's just on his timing. And that's why you have to be patient and remember to stay grounded. And I want you to also remember something too. Trust the things that he sees, that he hears, and that you can't even fathom. You can't be everywhere in the world. You don't hear every conversation being heard about you, the intentions behind the situation that you're in with other people, a job offering, anything. Only God sees all and hears all. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you have to trust the process and realize too that his timing is the only timing that you could truly be on. And so when that goes back to people, I also want you to realize too, certain situations with certain people won't really work out because God knows their intentions when it comes to you. You know what I mean? So if a friendship is not going, right, and they're just going south, and you really have this love interest, but y'all can never just seem to make it work, or it just feels like you're putting more energy than they are, and it's just not working out. God knew that all along, but he had to put you through it so you could see it, so you can learn a lesson, but at the same time realize too, like, my timing is the only timing that you really need to be on. So this love triangles and the wanting for a new love and wanting for a new car and this new job opportunity, it's all cool to want. You should want all those things. You should want to win in life, but at the same time too, you have to realize that God's timing is the only timing that's really right, and there's no wrong in that. And sometimes God, he won't give it to you because he knows you're not ready. And that's real. Because you have to really think about certain situations and certain things that you wanted, like more money, a new car, a new woman, a new man. But then when you really look back at it, if you finally did get those things, you really have to really ask yourself, like, was I even really ready for that at the time? And majority of the answer is really no, because you like, maybe back then I wouldn't have handled the money well because I didn't think good enough financially. Maybe I really wasn't ready for the love that I thought I was because I wasn't all the way healed, and I had little toxic traits I should have worked on, and I eventually did end up working on. With that being said, God knows your heart, He knows your mind, and He knows what you're ready for at that period of time. So when you see other people get job offerings, the new car, more money, anything that you could possibly think of. They were ready for that. And God knew that too. That's why he blessed them at that time. With that being said, continue to focus on yourself, focus on your path. And when all things come to fruition, just look up in the sky and remember to thank God for the things that he's putting for you and all the blessings that he's putting, in front of your face. Just like I said at the time, he knows when you're ready for everything. I want you to remember this scripture, James chapter 1, verse 1. God will bless you when you don't give up on your faith and when it's being tested. With that being said, continue to believe, continue to have faith, continue to pray, even when things seem like they're not getting any better or a lot of things that you want are not happening right now in your life. And that's okay because God knows when the timing is right for you. And I want you to remember that. So continue to work hard at work and continue to be a good person to yourself, to your loved ones, to your friends. Be kind, continue to be generous, all those type of things. Because God sees and hears everything. He knows he knows your intentions. He knows people's intentions about you and around you that he can keep you from or keep you or bring you closer to. So you have to remember all those things too. And I want you to remember something too. A lot of times, God's timing can keep you away from a certain person, place, or things because it could have been an event you were supposed to go to. It could have got shot up. A person that you really wanted in the past. Fast forward a couple years. Y'all didn't end up together, but they might be pregnant, they might be in jail, they might be not looking good, they might be down bad. And at the time you was crazy about it. You wanted them, you were just like, oh my God, anything I could do to have this person, but God just wouldn't let you. And when you finally fast forward to the future, you see why, because it could be people that you grew up with in school, middle school, high school. They could have been the it girl, the it guy, but it's just like fast forward. It's just like sometimes it doesn't just, that's how life goes. Things fast forward in life and people don't really take care of themselves. They don't keep God first. They don't put, themselves first. They don't work on themselves. And just because you're working don't mean that you're working on yourself, because you can go to work every day. You can make money. You can do this. You can do that. But at the same time, if you're not taking time to get closer with God, learn who you are, learn your hobbies, your likes, your dislikes, be, read, become knowledgeable about many areas, money, life in general, just everything. Even if getting out the house and having real life experiences, you know what I'm saying? All that has to do with what God wants for you at the time, because certain people and certain situations that you've been in, that you've either brought closer to or you've been pulled from, was all due to the fact of God's timing. What He knew what you could handle at that time, and what He knew you were capable of being around, or even multiplying or subtracting yourself from. With that being said, folks, please remember to believe in God's timing more than yours. He knows more than you. He knows all, as they say in the Bible. And with that being said, like I said before, continue to be a good person, continue to trust yourself, be good to those around you, continue to be generous, put good things into the world so good things can come back to you. And most importantly, continue to put God first at all times. Good, bad, and ugly. Pray to him. Continue to pray to him. Talk to him every day. Even that's in the car, on your lunch break, or walk around the park, just even in the shower. Just don't even talk like, oh God, I want, just talk. Just talk out loud, like he's literally sitting next to you or he's in front of you. Tell him everything that you want down to the T. And when you're ready, and he knows you're ready, he's going to make it happen for you. With that being said, thank you, family, for tuning in to another episode of Intuition. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video. Thank you guys for 300 subs in the last 3 months. Couldn't have not done it without you guys. Love you so much. Remember, Cody loves you, but most importantly, so does God. And holla at your boy, too.
I hop in the motherfucking coupe, yeah, I'm sliding. I'm telling this hoe that I just wanna fuck, but she look like she don't understand. I climb on the top rope. If I see her up, he gon' get RKO like I'm Randy. I'ma aim at the Glock at his nose, name Jamie.